I'm starting to see is a breakdown in your spine angle, which is turning into you're losing some of your power, and you're getting in a position where you're falling back on the ball and standing up right before impact, so your hands are coming in like this, and your club face is outracing your hands. You're starting to flip at the ball.
I can feel my right hand taking over.
Yeah, exactly. Now I'll get you on video in a little bit, and you can see in slow motion, as soon as you get into that position, immediately the club face is almost pointed backwards, just after impact sort of thing.
Wow.
So what I want to work on today is a couple things. We're going to work on getting a better hip transition so that you're less likely to fall into that position, and also keeping our hands ahead of the club face at impact so that we can see a little bit of forward shaft lean at impact as opposed to being back here.
Okay.
That's going to help with our compression of the ball, our contact. You're going to have more power because you're transferring your energy into the back of that golf ball, as opposed to standing up and losing all the power with your legs and then having to flip at it.
Okay.
So what that causes is usually the big snap hook, where you're coming back into it like this, and the only way to get the club face square to the ball again is to throw your hands at it, and then it's all timing based, which we've seen that ball go left before. Whereas if you're coming through and your hands are ahead of the golf ball, you may lose a couple right, but like how Ben Hogan talked about, he had a lot of supination in that left wrist because he fought the hook. There was no way his golf ball was going to go left if his hand was like this, because you cannot, if you're in this position, you can't flip your wrist over. You're pulling the hands through the impact zone.
Okay.
So I've got a little drill for that.
The couple times I realize I'm doing that to some, probably not to the extent that I really am, but I can feel it once in a while that I'm flipping it, and it just get a real high ball.
Right.
But anyway, when I try to lead with my back of my left hand, that's when I start squirting them right, pushing them out there right.
So, and which could be an issue of you're in a good position there, but your club face is just still open. You're not getting enough rotation and likely not enough hip turn. That's going to help you square that club face back to the center. So if you're still back on the ball but your hands are forward, you might be looking like that, or it's still open.
That's how I feel.
Whereas if we can get a big turn where your belt is facing the target sort of thing, or if you're looking from the back, you can almost see the other side of your butt cheek at impact, which if you watch the tour pros, they're all right here at impact. From behind you can see a lot of this, and they're finishing square to the target. If you don't have that good hip turn, you're still going to be in this position open, whereas if we were turned all the way onto our weight, see how that squares up right there?
Okay. And I have noticed in a few photos I've seen of myself, when I'm near impact, I tend to kind of be up straight and just hunching my shoulders forward instead of still bent.
Because that's probably the causation. Losing the spine angle is what's causing that, and typically when we do that, it's because we're trying to help the golf ball up into the air. At least for some players, that's what it is. Golf is one of those games of opposites. Hit down to make it go up.
I try to hit down on the ball. That's what I've always tried to do, but I don't know.
And you do, because we can see the divots, and you've got a good steep angle of attack and deep divots. I mean, you can still hit down from that position, but you're really just throwing the club into the ground, as opposed to if we get the weight moving forward and in, instead of this standing up position, we want to feel like we're driving and keeping that left shoulder down into this position.